Hi everyone and welcome to today's session. I am Krishna Chaitanya, a PMI authorized training partner for the ACP certification examination. In this session, we'll dive into some key questions in the same format as they appear in the ACP certification exam to give you a clearer picture of what to anticipate and how to approach them in the ACP examination. This will help you get familiar with the structure and style of questions so you can approach them with confidence. Let's get started. Let me share my screen with you and start off with the questions. Even before we get into the questions, first, let's understand what should be our approach to solve the questions in the examination. Firstly, slow down and read the questions slowly so you'll be able to understand the questions better. Every question will prompt some keywords which in turn will guide you or help you understand what could be the probable answer. So in the examination, you'll have an option to underline these keywords so that you can underline and highlight these keywords so that you can identify what could be the appropriate answer. So recognize these keywords and underline them. And every question will be from a perspective of a certain role or a situation. First, understand whether this is being asked from a point of view of a product owner, agile coach, or a project manager. So understand the role which you are in agile in this particular in that particular question. If a question exceeds 3 lines, start reading the last lines first. How would this help you? So most of the times it will be like the last section of the question will be prompting you about what is the particular role that you are expected to answer this question from, or what is the expected outcome of this particular scenario. So this last section of the question will prompt you that specific aspect. So reading that first will help you understand the perspective with which you'll have to read the rest of the scenario, rest of the question, starting from the beginning of the question. And determine which agile methodology the question is referring to. It's very important to understand which methodology that it is referring to, because we have quite a few methodologies within agile, whether it could be Scrum, whether it could be XP, or various other agile methodologies recognized. And if you're not very clear about the question, and if you're confused between the options, so follow the elimination technique. So go through each of the options and see whether it's relevant or appropriate to the question being asked. With this way, you can eliminate all the wrong answers and select the right answer. In ACP examination, usually you'll have 4 options, of which 2 options are usually irrelevant to the question. So out of the rest 2 options, you'll have to understand what would be the most probable answer and answer that and select that particular answer. Okay. And also understand that in PMI ACP examination, you'll not have any negative marking for any wrong answer. Yeah. Now let's get into the questions of the first domain, that is Agile Mindset. Okay, here is the question. Which principle of Agile Manifesto aligns with delivering value quickly? Even before we get into the options that are listed down, we'll have to understand that it is very important to know all the 12 principles and 4 values of Agile, so that it will be very easier for you to understand the Agile mindset. Okay, so here are the options. Let's go through each of the options and see which one is the most appropriate one for this question. Build projects around motivated individuals. Yes, though this particular option is one of the principles of Agile, but we'll have to understand whether it's appropriate to the question being asked here. So build building projects around motivated individuals will yield better results. However, it is not quite related to delivering the value quickly. So the next option is deliver working software frequently. Yes, this could be the answer, because you are, every time you deliver a software, an upgraded version or developed version of the software, you are adding value to the customer, adding value to the product through delivering this particular software. So that could be a probable answer. However, we'll finalize that after going through the rest of the options. Excuse me. Customer collaboration over contract negotiation. This is again talking about how to collaborate with the customer. However, this is not quite giving us sure relation between what the question is being asked here. And D, responding to change over following a plan. While this principle highlights flexibility and adaptability, it doesn't quite relate to delivering value frequently or quickly. So out of all the options that are listed down, so now we can understand that B is the most appropriate answer here. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Here is our second question. What is the primary focus of Agile Mindset? And let's see the options. Adhering strictly to planned schedules. Okay, this actually contradicts the Agile principle of adaptability. While schedules are important, they are secondary to responding to change and delivering value. So this is not an appropriate answer, so we can eliminate this. And the second option is minimizing project costs. While Agile can help optimize costs by focusing on delivering what is valuable, cost minimization is not the primary focus of Agile Mindset. Delivering value to the customer takes priority. And C, continuous learning and responding to change. Yeah, so this could be a probable answer, because the Agile Mindset actually embraces the reality that requirements, customer needs, and priorities often change during a project. And rather than resisting, Agile teams should just adjust their approach to deliver the best possible outcome. So this is very important principle of Agile. And let's see, before finalizing this as a final answer, let's go to the last option and see avoiding scope creep. Yes, Agile manages the scope through prioritization and iteration. Changes to scope are not seen as inherently bad, but as opportunities to align the product with evolving needs. However, our primary focus when it comes to the question is always continuous learning and responding to change. So that's our right answer. Okay, let's move on to the next question in the domain of leadership. And here is the question. What is the role of an Agile leader during team conflict? So here, what we can understand as the keywords are two. One, the role is an Agile leader, and two is the team conflict is going on. So these are the two keywords based on which the option, the correct option should be selected. Okay, first, meditate and propose solutions directly. So, which is absolutely not a right approach. We can eliminate that. The second option is ignore the conflict to promote self-organization. No, this is definitely not as per the Agile principles of an Agile leader. So, Agile leader should always put the team first and solve. Agile leader is there for the very purpose of solving any issues, any conflicts that are there within the team. not to promote self or ignore the team. So that's definitely a wrong answer. You can ignore that or eliminate that as well. And option C, facilitate resolution by empowering the team. Yes, this could be a right answer, because agile leader does not always directly jumps to conclusions or directly gives any solutions, but agile leader always facilitates a discussion among the team, so that any conflict or any discussion can be done among the team, so that they can reach to a common consensus and resolve an issue or a query. Okay, so this could be the most probable answer, but we'll see what is the last option as well. Report conflicts to the senior management. Again, this is also something that's done as a last resort, or it does not come under the purview of an agile leader's role. So agile leader should always strive to get the resolution within the team, uh, either by involving the product owner or involving every team member or discussing with every team member. But this comes as a last resort of escalating or reporting to the senior management. So the most appropriate answer here is answer C, facilitate resolution by empowering the team. That is the core activity or the core value of an agile leader. Okay. So moving on to the next question. How does an agile leader support innovation? All right, let's see the options. A, by closely monitoring all tasks. This is again like a micromanagement of the activities that are being done. Agile leader only looks at what is stopping the team to achieve a particular sprint goal or an iteration goal. What is stopping them from doing any activity that they are trying to achieve. But never an agile leader pokes into all the tasks and monitors. So that's definitely a wrong answer, and that can be eliminated. The next option, by providing a safe space for experimentation. Yes, this could be the right answer, because agile leader always should promote and support the experimentation of various possible options or approaches that the team suggests or team comes up with. So this could be a probable answer. And let's look at the third option as well. By reducing time allocated to creative tasks, definitely that's not going to help any innovation, because if we are reducing the time for creative tasks, then it's like we are not allowing the space for innovation. So which means that's an absolutely wrong answer. That can be eliminated as well. By imposing strict deadlines, and this is totally against an agile leader's role. Agile leader never imposes any strict deadlines, so this can be eliminated as well. So of the four options, the most appropriate answer and the right answer is by providing a safe space for experimentation. So through experimentation, the team actually learns, and this is one of the principles called empiricism. The entire agile mindset is based on. Empiricism is like learning through failures. So when the team is allowed and when they are given a safe space for experimentation, which means that they are given that support, even if they fail, it is there's no problem at all, and they'll be supported or they'll be backed up. Then the team will have more confidence in experimenting and looking for better approaches towards designing or developing a product. So that's the right answer. And moving on to the next set of questions from the domain product. Okay, so this is a scenario-based question, which is very lengthy. So according to our guidelines that we have seen in the first slide, let's see what is being asked in the last lines first. What should you recommend? Okay, if this is asking for a recommendation for this particular scenario. Let's read through the question. You're working as an agile coach for a software development team. So here, one of the keywords that we can understand or underline is the role is an agile coach. From which perspective that we have to look at this particular question. Okay, and the product owner has requested a new feature to be added to the product backlog. However, the team is already working on a critical bug fix that requires immediate attention. What should you recommend? So now, um, like we understand that product owner is the face of the customer for the team, for the development team. So anything that has to be prioritized, any story, user story that has to be prioritized, any feature that has to be prioritized, or anything that has to be added to the backlog. So it is all done by the product owner, which is coming from the customer, that is added by the product owner. And let's see what are the options and what could be the best fit here, best approach. First is prioritize the new feature over the critical bug fix to keep the product owner satisfied. Um, so this, prioritizing the new feature over the critical bug fix without fully understanding the impact could cause bigger issues down the line, especially if the bug affects product functionality of customer experience. So ignoring the bug fix and jumping onto what the product owner says or asks for is not a right approach. So this could be eliminated. Okay, and looking at the next one, discuss with the product owner to understand the impact of the critical bug fix and negotiate a solution. This could be the right approach because it opens up a discussion, a forum wherein the product owner and the team can understand what should be considered as a priority and what should be done as a priority. So this opens a discussion and they can come to a common consensus, understanding what should be dealt with first. So that could be a probable answer, but we'll fix this after reading or after going through the rest of the options as well. Inform the team to stop working on critical bug fix and switch to the new feature. Again, this is also talking in the similar lines as option A, which is not a proper approach. And D, ignore the product owner's request and focus solely on critical bug fix. So this could also be like, we are either taking only one side, not looking at what could be the priority on the other side, other perspective of the product owner. So this could not be the right approach as well. This cannot be. So we can eliminate this option as well. So the right option or the approach that should be recommended in this particular scenario is option B, discussing with the product owner to understand the impact of the critical bug fix and negotiate a solution. So that's the right answer. Okay, now let's move on to the next question. Again, a situation-based question. We'll read the last line first. How should the team respond? Here, the question is being asked about the team's response in this particular scenario. Okay, let's start with the question. During a sprint review, the stakeholders provide feedback on the product increment. One stakeholder suggests adding a new feature that was not part of the original requirements. How should the team respond? Okay, so now let's look at the options. Immediately add the new feature to the product backlog for the next sprint. Okay, so this is again like jumping to a conclusion and then jumping to a decision before looking at whether whatever the stakeholder is suggesting can fit into the next sprint or not, what and how it should be prioritized in the product backlog. So without understanding what could be its impact, directly putting it to the next sprint is not a right approach, and that could be eliminated. Okay. And looking at the next one, thank the stakeholder for the feedback and discuss the new feature in the next sprint planning meeting. This could be the right approach. Yes. So during the sprint review, whatever feedback the stakeholder is providing should be welcomed. And if possible, they should be added to the product backlog. However, whether it fits into the next sprint backlog or not, that should be discussed in the upcoming sprint planning meeting. So yes, this could be the right answer, but let's finalize after going through the next two options. Ignore the stakeholder suggestion as it was not part of the original requirements. Definitely not. Never a stakeholder should be ignored for any of the suggestions that they make. So even if the team thinks that the suggestion could not be incorporated, it has to be tested first, or there should be a proper justification that should be given whether it could be incorporated within the product backlog or the sprint backlog or not, and then go back to the stakeholder with its possibilities of being included in the product feature, but never ignore a stakeholder suggestion. So that option is also eliminated. Let's see the last option. Prioritize the new feature over the existing backlog items to accommodate the stakeholders' request. Again, this goes in the similar lines as the option A, which is like again jumping to conclusion and immediately taking up that particular requirement or the request or suggestion made by the stakeholder and putting it to the sprint backlog and start working on it. That is also not right. So looking at all the options, the best suitable and the right approach in this particular scenario is answer B. So discuss the suggestion made by the stakeholder in the upcoming sprint planning meeting and see whether it fits in the upcoming sprint or not. Right? Let's move on to the next question that's related to domain delivery. And here is the question. During a sprint review, the product owner raises concerns about the quality of the deliverables. What should the agile team do? Okay, so if we look at the keywords here, it's who is raising the concern in the sprint review is the product owner, not the stakeholder. It's the product owner is raising the concern, and it's about the quality of the deliverables. And now, who is supposed to take an action here? The agile team. So these are the keywords that should be underlined, and let's see what the options are given here. First, ignore the concerns and proceed with the next sprint. Again, like we have seen in the previous questions and like we have discussed, product owner is the face of the customer for the team. So product owner lists down all the requirements from the customer's point of view and is always talking about any product feature or the quality feature that is from the customer's point of view. So it cannot be ignored at all. So this option can be eliminated. And looking at second option, hold a retrospective meeting to identify the root cause of the quality issues. Yes, this could be an approach that should be followed. So what sort of quality concerns are being raised by the product owner, and what kind of approaches by the team has resulted in these quality concerns should be checked in the retrospective meeting and identify the root cause analysis so that those quality issues can be addressed. So that could be a probable approach. Let's see, and the rest of the options as well. See, assign blame to the team member responsible for the deliverables. Definitely not. When an agile team is working, the basic principles of the agile team is not to blame anyone, any individual, but look at any issue or anything that is coming up, as a bug or as an improvement from a team's perspective, as a team together, and never should be a team member blamed for any of the deliverables. Okay, so which means this is also not an appropriate answer. The last option, escalate the issue to the senior management for resolution. Again, like we have seen in the earlier questions, so this is out of scope or is the last resort that could be arrived to, but this is not encouraged in agile practices. So looking at all the options that are available here, so B is the most appropriate and the right approach to follow. The team should actually discuss in the retrospective meeting and the approach towards resolving these quality issues. Okay, so now So here is the question. The Agile team is facing challenges in meeting the sprint goals due to scope changes from stakeholders. What should the team do? So here, what is being expected is the action from the team. And one thing that we can understand from the question is that it is not specified whether the changes are coming from the stakeholders during the sprint or um, before the sprint or during the sprint review. So that is not specifically mentioned. So we'll have to look at the options to see which is the appropriate approach here. Okay. So the first option here is accept the changes and adjust the sprint goals accordingly. Okay, so if the question has mentioned like, in between the sprint, if the stakeholders are expecting the sprint goal of that particular sprint should be changed, then it would have taken a altogether different approach. But here it is not mentioned as during the sprint, a particular sprint. But however, the changes from stakeholders are being, are coming from to the team. So according to the agile methodology or agile ways of working, it is always the team's responsibility to put the stakeholders' requirements first. So which means we'll have to accept the changes that are coming from the stakeholders and adjust the sprint goals accordingly. Okay, so this could be a probable answer. However, let's look at the rest of the options as well. Reject the changes and continue working on the original sprint goals, which cannot be an option because stakeholders are given the utmost importance or priority, and the changes or the requests that are coming from the stakeholders should be given priority and should be adapted into our product backlog or the sprint backlogs. So which means B can be eliminated. That is the wrong answer. Inform the stakeholders that changes are not allowed during the sprint. Yes. So like we have discussed during the option A, if the changes were requested during the sprint, while the sprint is going on, and the sprint, that specific sprint goal is requested to be changed, then this could have come up as an answer. However, that is not specified in the question. So which means this is not an appropriate answer as well. So let's move on to the last option. Escalate the issue to the project manager for resolution. So again, escalation comes as a last resort in every case. However, of the given options here, the most suitable option is to accept the changes and adjust the sprint goals accordingly, because it doesn't say, the question doesn't say that the changes are being asked for a specific sprint that is ongoing. So that has to be understood very well while selecting this particular answer. Well, that's all for today. And thank you very much for joining for this coaching call. And I'll see you all in the next coaching call. Until then, have a very good day. Thank you everyone for joining.